Right, so you're watching this video, that means that you have a smart or an Android television at home, and you have realized that the performance of the TV is going down day by day. So it used to be really faster when you bought it initially, but now with time, over after an year or so, you would have realized that when you use different apps on your television, it gets frozen. You always get buffering issues while you are trying to stream online content, and there are a lot of things that you can do on your television. And on this video we're going to cover 10 different ways or settings that you can have on your television that will definitely improve the television performance. So stay tuned. So before we start with the first one, I would ask if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, so that you can keep updated to the latest videos. I keep on posting similar videos from time to time. If you like the video, click the like button and share it with your friends. So let's make a start now. Okay, so the first and the foremost reason your live content could be buffering while you are trying to play Netflix or Amazon Prime or YouTube videos can be down to the connection of broadband. So what you can do on that is, I would always prefer you go for a LAN wired connection rather than going for a wireless one. We all want a wireless connection. That is the whole purpose of buying a smart television and smart devices. But if your broadband connection is not stable, or if you want to get the extra bit of your broadband bandwidth, it is always better to go for a LAN connection. So how you can test it is, you have on a television, you would have this broadband or Wi-Fi icon. Go in here, it will show you whether your TV is connected through Wi-Fi or if it is under LAN. So for me, you can see it's connected through wired LAN. So by default, if you have both a wire LAN cable connected as well as a Wi-Fi router is there, it will by default go into the wired LAN. And the benefit of that is that whenever the LAN is taken out, it will switch directly to the Wi-Fi network. As I said earlier, you will get some extra bits. Let's say for me it's a 30 Mbps speed. If I use LAN cable, I get around 26 Mbps speed. If I go for a Wi-Fi connection, it goes down to 21-22 Mbps speed. So the speed is better, plus the connection is stable. So number one tip is to go for a wired LAN connection rather than going for a Wi-Fi one, right? So there's always a trade-off between the wires you want to see in your television, but for me, you can see the wired cable connection is to the TV is really through the wall, and no one can see the wires behind, right? That's one. Number two is, if you have on your television, if you go to settings, there would be something called a GPS tracker or a location tracker. I would recommend, if you don't use any apps that doesn't actually require location tracking, you switch it off. So if you go in down on your television, if you have a Sony Android or smart television, within personal there would be location. If you go to location, you can go and switch it off, because at least I don't use any of the services that would need a location to be on. There would be a few apps that would definitely want your location to be on, like BBC iPlayer. It's not that it won't work, it's just that they would want to see if you're, for the copyright reasons or for media rights, are they authorized to show a certain content in your country or not. So, but for me, I don't use any of the such apps which are restricted to geographical reason. So you can turn it off. If that is not the case with you, you need to turn it off, turn it on. It's up to you. But there is a trade-off, because there would be a lot of TV processes running in background that would slow down your television. So that's number two. Number three, I would say, is you should review the installed apps on your television from time to time. So if you are somebody who has a similar habit as myself, to keep on installing apps from time to time, and then you always forget to uninstall it if you don't use it, the best way is to do some housekeeping. Go to settings. Within settings, again, if you go down, you can see within apps, you would be able to see the list of apps that are installed on your television. So these are the apps, let's say, on my television, and if you're not using them frequently, I would say you go in there and just press uninstall. So the first thing is it will free up some space on your storage on your television. And secondly, lesser the apps, the lesser the number of resources it will utilize, and the performance will be better as well, right? So that's the one way of doing it. But it's always good to do these app reviews from time to time, and just remove the unused services and apps on your television if you're not using it. So that's number two. That's number three. Let's move on to the next one. I would say another one is to coming back to the apps. If you go into apps, if you have to keep these apps on your television, make sure that you clear the cache or clear the data, these two, from time to time. So this will all. The app stores some of the cookies and some of the data based on your usage patterns to give you a personalized and a customized experience. But in case you don't want the notification to be sent by the app, or if you don't think that app you need any customized or personalized experience or for that particular app, you can keep clearing the cache and data from time to time. Or the other way would be just to click on uninstall and uninstall that app permanently from your television. It will ask for a final check, and here it is. It will be uninstalled from your television. So that's number 4. Let's move on to number sorry, that's number 3. Let's move on to number 4. Is to turn off the automatic updates on your television. So there would be a lot of updates happening from time to time. To move on to the latest versions, it is mostly recommended, but I personally think that it slows down your television from time to time. So what you can do is, because what happens is, if you're playing Ultra HD or 4K content on your television and some processors are running in background to update the apps or your TV, it slows it down. So turn it off, I would say. Number 5 would be to go into your television and check out or check off the usage patterns and diagnostic. So within settings, if you go within usage and diagnostics, you'll see you can either turn it on or turn it off. I mean, what it will do is, based on your usage patterns and the errors you keep getting on your television, or the bandwidth of broadband speed you are getting, what your usual usage patterns are, it will be sending off everything to Android, if it is Android television, or to whoever the service provider or your TV has come from, and they would use it for improvements. So it's in a way good for them to do some research and development at their end, but at your end, it will utilize some resources in background and might slow down your television. So I would recommend switch it off. Let someone else send them these diagnostics and help them, not you. Okay, moving on. Number 6, I would say, is TV security and restrictions. So within settings in your television, you see here security and settings. I would say turn off unknown sources. The reason being, if you install any app which might damage your hardware or work with some of your software and pull it down, it's always better to turn it off, so that you don't get any any unwanted apps installed on your television which are not authorized by Google. Next thing would be to turn on verify apps. That's an additional check of whatever apps you're downloading. They will not cause any harm to your television, obviously. Alright, okay, so that's number 6. Let's move on to number 7. And here I would say, before you download or install any apps on your television, make sure that you read about the version of the app and what app you're installing, and check with the hardware compatibility of your TV. So to check what TV hardware and software what TV hardware it is and what version of software it is, you can go into settings and then about, and then see what version of Android or smart television, whatever you have, it has got, and then check for this app you're trying to download, and then see whether it's compatible for you or not, whether it will give you optimum performance or not. If not, don't install it, because it will play around with other installed apps as well and might deteriorate their performance as well. To check the software updates available, as I said, switch it off, but for me it is on. And then I would say, whenever you're not using television, then switch it on for a day, and then it will install when you like it, rather than it installing it whenever they like it to be installed on your television. So turn it on only when you want it to be installed on your television, right? Then another thing I would say is, whenever there are multiple apps running, that's number 9, that's number 8 on my of my point. Whenever there are multiple apps running on your on your TV, let's say let me give you an example. I go into YouTube, and then what I will do is, on this remote, I will go to home, right? So it will come out, and then what I will do is I'll go into another app. So that's not a good practice, I would say. If you're not going to go back to YouTube, what I would suggest is press the back button and then exit it properly. You see, press back again to exit. So that would close down the app properly, rather than pressing the home button, where both of these apps would be running or competing with each other for the resources of your television. This will also slow down your television, so I would recommend you properly come out of the app, rather than just coming out of it without exiting it properly, right? So that's another thing. So I'll come out. Number 10 I would suggest is, whenever there are multiple apps running at the same time and one of them gets frozen, that takes up a lot of resources of your television, right? And the other apps can't perform well as well, so you might face streaming issues and all. So come back to settings, go to apps. Let's say there is an app running, and what you do is, there would be an option to force stop it. It's similar to what you have on your laptops. You can force kill a process which is utilizing too much of resources on your laptop. Similarly on your television also, within apps, if you go down, there would be a force stop option of that particular app. Just force stop it, that's it. So it will kill the running session of that app, and nothing else will change, right? And the last, or the 10th tip, number 10, I'll tell you, is to frequently update the apps that you use. So I'm saying that you usually turn off the TV updates, and uninstall all the apps which you don't use, or clear the cache and data of the apps you don't use. But for the apps that you use constantly or very frequently, make sure that they are updated and that they have the latest version. So for this one, it's the latest version. Otherwise, it would have asked for me to install the latest version of the app. So these were the 10 simple or steps you can follow on your smart television, no matter which brand it is, whether you're using a Samsung smart television, whether it's Sony smart television, any Android television. It doesn't make any difference. These are some steps which are basic, and every person who uses the smart television should follow. If you have any questions around any of these, just post in your comments. I would send a link to my blogs as well. SonyAndroidTV.com is the website name. There are similar blogs and best practices of smart television, Android television mentioned there. Go visit these blogs and keep watching my YouTube videos as well. Like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.